Hello everyone, I'm Serial Beliefs. Today we're going to look at Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. It's an awesome addition to the Warhammer universe made by Owlcat Games. Since it is an RPG, I'm going to spend time talking about not only the game mechanics but also the lore of the setting too. Rogue Traders are a combination of a space explorer, merchant, and privateer all wrapped up together. With what's called the Warrant of Trade, they have a permission slip to travel freely in space. I've been a fan of Warhammer 40k for years. I don't want to think about how many books I own for the 40k RPGs. Only War, Dark Heresy, Death Watch, Black Crusade, and Rogue Trader. Heck, I even have a copy of the Imperial Infantryman's Handbook sitting on my shelf. That's why it was really cool for Owlcat Games to sponsor today's video. You can find a link to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader in the video description down below. Now let's dive in. Let's begin with character creation. We have pre-generated options that are completely fine, but I'm opting to create a custom character. I've been reading Gaunt's Ghost by Dan Abnett again just to get into the headspace for my character's backstory. I've envisioned my character as a Lieutenant General Gideon, an Imperial Guardsman leader who is known for his unorthodox approach to leadership, and it's known as the Gideon principles that he lives by. These have put him at odds with other more orthodox commanders. We'll see how that comes into play with our character choices later. Usually in CRPGs, I opt to bring in some manner of custom portrait picture. However, the artwork they have is absolutely incredible. When I saw one portrait piece, I knew exactly who I had to play. And here he is, Gideon. We'll learn more about him as we go through our other decisions later on. What's cool too is that whenever you pick out a portrait, the game will try to update the model to best match it. You're able to change up your hair, body type, add tattoos, or even augmentations. Canonically, in the setting, those are quite expensive to get. First, we get to pick our homeworld. The Imperium of Man is all about bureaucracy. They have a classification system for all the different worlds they own. I'm picking Hive World, a city that spans planet-wide where billions of people live. If you live in the lower levels, you're going to be miserable. The higher up you go, living like the Jetsons, the better off you are. To reflect our world, we get a feature called Strength in Numbers. When we're around 3 or more creatures in a 3-cell radius, we get a bonus to our resolve. If we're alone, we get a penalty to resolve. Resolve is how much momentum you gain when you kill an enemy or when your turn begins. Momentum is a bar you'll see in combat. It goes up or down based on how well you perform in combat. At each polar end, you can unlock heroic acts or desperate measures. In other words, ultimate abilities you can use in combat. It's an RPG, so of course we have stats to look at. Every core stat corresponds with a skill. Fellowship is the focus for Gideon. That'll benefit his persuasion, coercion, and commerce skills. +5 to agility, that'll help our placement in a combat turn order when initiative is rolled. And while we have a -5 penalty to willpower, that's okay and you'll see why in just a moment. Talents are options we can unlock later on when leveling up. The major one that I want to focus on is camaraderie. Hive World characters can pass willpower resistance tests using their fellowship if it's higher. There we go. A perfect synergy with our officer build. Now we get to pick our origin. What our career was like before we came onto this ship. We're going to pick Astra Militarum Commander. That's a high Gothic term. The low Gothic form of that name would be the Imperial Guard. Our core feature is regimental tactics. All of our allies get a hefty damage bonus to enemies that are close to us or them until the end of our next turn. Our allies also take 0 damage from other allies' attacks, perfect for letting our damage dealers rip through the enemy. We get to add a +5 to ballistic skills and perception, with another +5 to our athletics and medica skills. For talents, we get a lot of cool toys to help buff our own damage or the damage of our allies. We'll see those come into play later. Now we get to pick a triumph. Of our 3 options, it'll have to be Feat of Greatness. We achieved a great victory over the ruinous powers, however, that also leads us to our darkest hour. I mentioned earlier how his leadership style did not mesh well with the other commanders. That led to betrayal at the highest level in his last battle. And though his forces won, he was captured. It's why he's not as proficient with a sword as he used to be. His mind is still strong, but his body has slowed down. And here's the cornerstone of our character concept, the archetype. At level 1, there are 4 archetypes to pick from. I'm going with Officer, which will lead to 3 more choices I can pick from at level 16. Right now, I'm planning on becoming a tactician, but we'll see once we're there. As an officer, we have 2 incredibly powerful features that can shape the outcome of a battle. First is Voice of Command. We increase their stats for 1 round, which is great, but what's even better is that all of our abilities can be applied to the target of our voice from any distance. That brings us to Bring It Down, which grants an additional action for an ally. If we've used Voice of Command on that same ally, they also get a bonus to their momentum. Our ultimate ability is called Finest Hour. Both versions grant an ally an extra turn with full action and movement points. Now let's dive into our core characteristics. We get 30 points to increase any of these skills up to a total of 2 times. Ballistic skill doesn't impact the damage of our ranged weapons, but it does reflect our accuracy and capability with that weapon. While we're not going to be a damage dealer, I want to make sure that we can hit when it counts. We're going to improve agility too. That's going to help out our initiative, dodge chance, reactions, and even a demolition skill. I would like Gideon to be able to move early on in combat. And just because he's a veteran general, I want him to be perceptive of his surroundings. He can't make informed decisions unless he's aware of what's going on. And finally, we're going to boost up Fellowship again. That's going to be a very high score for us to focus on. I want to pump it up to 45. With the social head of our party, the others can shoot at our command. And finally, Gideon's going to call his frigate the Vox DA, the Voice of God. While the ship looks tiny here, around 26,000 people live on it. It's like a massive spacefaring city. And for the finishing touch, we get to put in his name, Gideon. Now we get to begin his story.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Have we met?
Allow me to introduce myself. Kunrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship rogue trader Theodora von Valencius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Lieutenant General Gideon Scipio Grimald, commander of the 8th Army.
My regards, Lieutenant General. The Astra Militarum is the hammer of the God Emperor, isn't that what they say? Well, it is likely that fate will give you ample opportunity to demonstrate your talents as a commander.
I bet it's going to. That nearly sounds like a threat coming from him.
I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
That does speak to the power that a rogue trader has. I'm a lieutenant general, yet she's able to call me to service. Gideon will be very direct. Any information he needs will come from her. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord's Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Edelthrad? Okay, he's going to be another one of my family members, a family reunion. That feels strange for someone who didn't know any family prior to what's happening here. A new quest by the right of blood. So we're going to follow him. Right now we're on a frigate. It feels like it should be a much larger class of ship, but no, it's not. 26,000 crew members, a sword class, 1.6 kilometers in length. That's a pretty decent walk around. They really did nail down the overall aesthetic too. Nobles everywhere. And we're just waiting for Kunrad, who of course is taking his time. A servitor. That would be a terrible way to go. If you're a criminal, you could be punished by being turned into a servitor.
One of the von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening? Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
You've been ambushed. The battle begins. 4 crew officers, 1 Kunrad, and 1 Gideon. Here comes the Servitor. It's using Frenzy, giving it more movement points and also action points. Now we've got 2 crew officers. With all that blood, he's going to summon the Blood God. Kunrad's going to help us deal more damage. I'm going to move right by 1 crew officer. Then I'm going to use my voice of command on that same one. After that, Regimental Tactics. Let's try to hit as hard as we're able to. A 90% chance to hit, 10 to 14 damage. I'm going to take up my stub revolver and attack. 13 damage, not bad, but it's not sufficient. They've only got las pistols, 7 damage, then 4. Here it comes, round 2. He's dead, I can't save him. I'm very sorry. It's about to be back to us. There's Kunrad again. And I'll once again attack. 11 damage. 1 more hit, then it's gone. Don't miss. You did it. We did save 1 crew officer. Kunrad says, I can scarcely believe it. On a day like this. What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. Without taking his eyes off the bodies on the floor, Voidveer removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. Ah, they're here. They're a bit late, but that's alright. Only many people died. Spread out, no one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations. The lines on Voidveer's forehead soften, and his voice regains his usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, Gideon, for Lady Theodora's safety. I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor. The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. I've got to be on watch now. I'm a military man, and already we're under attack. If only I could have activated that turret. Or I could have gotten into the tank. That would have been better, I think. Let's open up. They won't be too far away. There they are. Still standing. They should evacuate. They really should. More servitors and a tech priest. And here's where we need to go. The command deck. We're intruding on a meeting. Oh, good. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Sin skin is a spray-on bodysuit that's meant to protect you from environmental hazards and make you stronger. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson, then suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described a situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Edelthrad? I'm here to listen for right now. While you are considering your answer, Edelthrad, I wish to speak with someone else. Perhaps I shall hear something more interesting than incoherent mumbling. Theodora nods in your direction. Approach. Oh, he doesn't like that. Do you permit your people to interrupt your conversations in such a fashion? I give that permission to those with something of substance to say. Let us see if it was worth it. Theodora tilts her head, her lips stretch into a cold smile. This is Gideon, the second candidate for the title of my successor. The rogue trader regards you with a look that is imperious, predatory, and oppressive. Step forward, Gideon. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? So I've passed 2 skill checks, both lore, 1 Xenos and 1 for the warp. I'm going to pick the Xenos option. Those spirits could well be the native's name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Edelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Gideon, are simply unaware of their existence. Gideon is not going to respond in any overly emotional way. He's not going to be prideful. However, he's a military man. He's going to be direct. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Edelthrad. The color drains from Edelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, ignorant upstart, how dare you! Edelthrad, Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. He responds, I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Now he's leaving. I can't believe I'm related to him. He's got to have the weak part of our family line for sure. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Gideon, why are you here? She knows why I'm here. That's got to be rhetorical. But, look, there are questions that I wish to have answered. You are direct, I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. Oh, she's flexing on me. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massimo Afscaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The Warrant of Trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where power's wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Gideon, are one of those with the Von Valentius blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. It's really not for Gideon. He was happy to be in a trench with his fellow men. He's a rifleman. He's a commander. But he's got to do what he's told. One of. Does this mean there are other heirs? We know that, however, why not get more information by feigning ignorance? Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a Warrant of Trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad, he served me for many years before he made his mistake. I do wonder what it was, but Gideon would not. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The Vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the Navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. I've got one simple question. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, Consider yourself my aide. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to... Theodore's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. There it is, an ambush. There's so many. They didn't have a chance. And now we're surrounded. Oh, you know he's heretical with that hairstyle. You've been ambushed again. I don't want that to be a habit. It looks like the Idira is going to go after the Seneschal. We're outnumbered heavily, but I'm not worried about that. Why? If we have a look at our arch-militant, Mort, he's got a melt-a-gun that's going to shoot out a blast of intense heat, and our enemies are going to melt. Abelard, he's got a blade. He appears to be a Navy man. He's going to be good in melee combat. And Theodore is a rogue trader. They're able to afford the best equipment possible. Let's begin. I won't be able to do too much just yet, but that's alright. She's used, kill them, giving us plus 50 to our ballistic skill, a cleave from Abelard, killing 2 heretics, then a charge, killing a 3rd. There's Mort. Whoa, one was able to dodge and attack. Hey, good for you. They're shooting at Abelard. A miss on me. Good. Theodora, she's moved into a position I was going to take, but that's alright. I could still move into cover, but we're not going to do that right now. Instead, we're going to move over. I can't use my voice of command on anyone here. That's alright. What I'll do instead, I'll move over to the right using all of my movement points. Then I'm going to use my regimental tactics. We might as well do that now. I've got 4 action points to use, but I'm only able to attack once. Here's a direct kill, a 95% chance to hit. Execution. It is done. Let's end our turn. Back to them. Theodora was hit, but she's incredibly powerful. She's going to be okay. There can be friendly fire, so we do need to watch out for that as a factor. There's a brawler. Abelard was able to parry. You know what? I want him to be my right-hand man. If I'm all about commanding and ranged attacks, he's going to be my bodyguard. Ooh, a plasma pistol. Okay, those 2 are dead. Abelard once again killing everyone. There's only a few left. 3 total. Another attack. They're not very well trained at all. We're going to have to move up. If I try to shoot from here, I still do have a high chance to hit. I won't be in cover, but that's going to be alright. Let's move up again. And attack. Time for you to die too. Got him. 11 damage. I'm glad I'm not on cleaning duty. Imagine being a janitor in 40k. Oh, that would be a terrible job. Body parts, blood everywhere. We've won. That was it. Once again late. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single horse son survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, Not bad. I've seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security makes them that much more susceptible to the harsh realities of warp transitions. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. Gideon will be very, very succinct. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid and be quick about it. I doubt he'll need my help, but that's okay. I'm going to follow her commands. I'm not really meant for the naval life, but I'll have to learn quickly. I'm all about ground combat. Okay, so there's already a firefight going on. I wonder how many could be here. It's got to be thousands. There's Mort. And I nearly feel bad for his enemies. No, I don't. 1 dead, 1 left. Now they're dead too. They've been flanked. Who's arrived? It's Kunrad. He's back. Kunrad lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing you. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, eh, Kunrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it, which is a timepiece, essentially a watch. Kunrad pointedly looks away from the Arch-Militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. The Arch-Militant looks back at you. What? Did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We are all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls his Vox from the belt and hurriedly reports on the situation. Here she comes. Hopefully we'll find out what's going on. I doubt we'll have too many answers yet. Theodora says, Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Vox net is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my Arch-Militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report. I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Geller field failures. The Geller field is what is meant to protect our ship during any type of warp travel. But communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only Voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. Voidveer pauses. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. We hate traitors like any Imperial should. However, we're going to think about the people who might be in danger. We must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Perhaps then we might stop this wave from spreading. Theodora says, First we have to confirm that the bridge and the Navigator's sanctum are secure, and I have the means to do both. Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Voidveer. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A Psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and to others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. He's a Psyker? Oh, that could be really bad. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18. Blasted. Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Slash and the Sister of Battle. Wait, there's a Sister of Battle here? Heck yeah. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant with me. I must go to my study, and it appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Gideon, Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain. Voidveer's voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I am not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's Psyker powers. Looks like I'm joining him, okay. We've worked well so far. Then it's settled. Gideon, find Edelthrad and bring him here, in whatever state you find him. This elevator, she points at the massive doors, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both, do you understand? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. Theodora waves a hand impatiently. Then move out. Mort, come. They are very decisive. That's good to know. Edelthrad might have an issue, on his own, of course. Voidveer gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear. I shall make do. Lead the way. Of course you will. He rummages in his pocket for something. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs, but that is no longer relevant. He's a traitor, I knew it. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen, and you are consumed by unbearable, gut-wrenching pain. The Master of Whispers a traitor. How appropriate. I promised you a special destiny, Gideon. It is time to fulfill it. So he needs me for something. Of course he does.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Voidveer, you two-faced scum. You're the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself.
I'm not a bottle, don't touch me.
We are in the anteroom of the Warrant Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
What is it, inbred? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel?
On the contrary, the Warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, fond Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
We did pass a skill check. Coercion. What sorry pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid wretched piece of grok shit? A grox is a very aggressive reptile.
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur. Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind.
He might have full control of our current situation, but Gideon was able to anger him, so now he's not in emotional control. Good.
Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench Von Valencius watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
The blade flashes in a dim light, and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment, you feel nauseous, and your head is spinning. And then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. I'm going to use my willpower. Fight the voice in your head. Get out. I am not your puppet. We passed. The voices in your head persist in their demands, and yet you feel this unseen chorus momentarily waver under the strength of your resolve, until the intruding influence forces you to your feet and pushes you toward the gate looming in the center of the chamber. We've got to move, we've got to do it, but hopefully something will happen. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The sentinel turns his head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. I'm going to use my tech use skill. Let's check it out. It worked out, 20 XP for me. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as a material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect that you are looking at a technological relic known as an archetype. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With a screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living mortal could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voidveer wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. I'm going to place my hand into the Sentinel's maw. We might as well get it over with. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall into the Servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath, maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humus. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
Yes. Yes, I do. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
That's what I'm talking about. I got you there, Kunrad. Purified.
Well, there is still another way.
Ah, I do love the smell of promethium in the morning. Let's go check on that Warrant of Trade. Oh, it's massive. Kunrad, I don't know how you were going to get that out of here. From one document derives so much power. You're able to take control of planets, lead your own armies, do pretty much whatever you want. Very few could rival your power. I wonder where we go from here. I've got to find a weapon. There's a Vox skull.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Who are you?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Lead me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Sure, I can do that. It wants me to close the door. That was a long-winded way of saying that. Yeah, there we go. I've got the power, and it's closed. Perfect.
Master, whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this?
Kunrad is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
That's right. He is clearly serving the unholy gods of the warp. He just fled from here after using sorcery to open a portal in space.
Serving the gods of the war? Kunrad is a heretic. Oh, Voidfear, you void rat. Madness. And this mutiny is likewise his doing, no doubt.
That's right. Voidveer openly admitted that he is a mastermind behind the mutiny.
Groxseed. Then it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal all passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
It feels good to have my weapon back. We are getting closer to level 2. I'll put my sword over into item group 2. He's given me 1 armored body glove, light armor. My chance to dodge, 70, not bad. My armor, only 15%. We're not going to be hit. We're not meant to be in melee combat anyway. Let's go over to Abelard. I'm going to give him a medikit. I won't be able to use it. He's got a chain sword and also a flak vest. Alright. I'll get him to use it. I can't do it.
Is always there for you. That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the Navigator and the Master Helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the war and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the Navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
For the Imperium and humanity. Lead the way, Seneschal.
Come.
A wave of static suddenly erupts from the servo skull, and you can make out the Adora's words through the noise. To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor. Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
Prepare for battle. Get your characters into position. We haven't been ambushed. That's good. Abelard, I want you close by. We know he's able to hit multiple targets. And Gideon, you'll be right by him. Let's begin. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to move diagonally right here by 2 enemies. Then we're going to use Brace for Impact. Can only be used once per combat for 1 round. The Navy officer and their allies in a 3-cell radius gain +2 deflection for each archetype taken by the Navy officer. They also cannot be forcefully moved or over-penetrated.
My place is at the fore.
Now it's time for a cleave. Let's kill these 2.
I will do like you want, you a target.
We've got 2 action points left. That means we get to charge. 1 more to kill. A parry, unfortunately, but that's alright. We got 2 of them. Gideon is going to move up. 3 movement points right there, right by Abelard. Then I want him to use Voice of Command. We're going to make Abelard even tougher. Perfect. Regimental Tactics for more damage. A lot more damage. Next, we're going to use a pistol burst. When shooting in volleys, tiles highlighted in red show the intended trajectory of the shots, so we could hit anywhere here. Let's do it. I got 2. I nearly got 3. That was really cool. Their turn. Alright, what are you going to do? Hit me? A parry for Abelard. 0 damage on me. An opportunity attack. He tried to get away, but it didn't work out. Next, we get to use another cleave. We got him. We need to be very careful not to hit Gideon. That would be really, really bad if we did that.
I took care of this one.
There, all done. We won. Quick and easy. We're also able to pick up loot now. A las pistol, a bunch of swords. We leveled up. Alright, let's see. Here's my archetype. Level 2. I get to advance a skill. A +10 to my persuasion. Yeah, I'll take that. I'm here to socialize quite well. I'm the face of my group. We're done. Abelard, it's your turn. I'm going to have you work on Carouse. This skill is affected by the toughness characteristic. It represents the ability to resist negative effects applied by some poisons, stimulators, or alcohol. We could also get new dialogue options. He's going to be sturdier than I am. All good. Oh, and certain decisions will continue to change us. We could become more dogmatic, heretical, or an iconoclast. You'll see those pop up later on. Yeah, we'll have to advance carefully somewhere, I'm sure. For him, he's one iconoclast. I've yet to make any decision like that just yet. We'll look at that in more detail later on. Our persuasion, 60. That's really high. Our reputation? Non-existent. Well, look at that. The warp is in here. Are you a friend? She is a psyker, you can tell by her staff. Let's go greet her. She's on our side.
And so, he will enter the halls of the blinded guide and witness the radiance of the final dawn through the cracks and fall victim to a whim of fate.
Master, watch your head. Idira, would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. The voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing!
This is Idira the Psyker, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valensis. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the Immaterium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer.
Oh boy, she's gonna be in our party? And that's gonna be fun. It's like having a frickin' bomb in your group. The entity in your consciousness shrinks and crawls in deeper. Its claws scraping against the walls of your mind, as if the presence is trying to hide from the seer standing before you. A diviner, are you?
The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud. And you are von Valancius, one of Lady Theodora's heirs. Well then, we finally meet.
Here we go again. You hear a few clicks from the relays on the servo skull, which has followed you all the way here, and Theodora's scrambled words give way to a voice vaguely familiar to you. Officer's frequency. To all who can hear me, those with a weapon in their hands are to gather on the officer's deck at once. I repeat, gather on the officer's deck at once and prepare to launch a counterattack.
That's Edelthrad. Oh, Emperor's providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelthrad's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Blast it. You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
What are you doing here?
The whispers called me. The ones I could make out among all the screams and screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the Navigator, our guide through the warp. Other whispers called me to the Enginarium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our master Cog, and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the Chief Engine Seer is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the Navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the Navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks.
We've got to see if the Navigator as well.
Oh no. No. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity. But we're not just going to stand here and take it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a Navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect that noble mutant while we're still alive.
They've got a Psyker too. We're gonna have to watch out for what's called veil degradation. The more we use Psyker powers, the weirder things can get. We usually begin at a score of 0 in combat, however, based on what I'm seeing, it's probably a bit higher. Alright, let's get everyone into position. Their Psyker gets to move first. Gideon, you'll move into full cover. Abelard, I want you to move right in the middle, and Idira, you'll move into half cover. That'll do it. Minor Psyker powers contribute 1 point, major ones 3 points. Right now we're at 10 veil degradation. Okay, Abelard. I'm gonna have you use charge right off the bat. Oh, he's too far away? Not for long, let's move up. 4 movement points, then a charge. Using 2 action points. A critical hit. 1 strike, 22 damage. Nice work. After that, he's gonna use Brace for Impact. Alright, Abelard. Let's end our turn again. Gideon. I'm gonna have you move right over here, 5 movement points. Then I want you to use Voice of Command. Right on Idira. Yeah, do that. Perfect. Then I'm gonna use Regimental Tactics. And I could use a pistol burst or a single shot. Let's use a burst for fun. 2 shots, 2 kills. That was really cool. Idira, it's your turn. She's going to use Lightning Arc, a guaranteed hit. It's able to hit up to 4 targets. Let's take them out. And we've won. Nice. The creature in the chair appears as if it has become one with its throne. You see pink parchment-like skin stretched between its seat and the limbs that have too many joints for a normal human being. The Navigator is breathing heavily, the air whistling as it exits through the 2 dark gill-like slits on its cheeks. The creature's eyes are shut, the 2 ordinary eyes as well as the third one that sits in the center of its forehead. Man, he's messed up. Abelard says, I believe Master Vespiadus still lives. He flinches at the sight of the stretched skin and the dark marks on the face of the creature. The servants are dead, but the chamber, thank the Emperor, is still sealed from the warp. Well, we have a chance of leaving this place alive. I'm going to approach. The Navigator stirs, barely able to lift his head and half open his normal eyes. A dark drop rolls from under the closed lid of the third eye and down his face, leaving behind a black trail. Your time is short. The voice is coming from the Vox grill at the base of the bizarre chair. It is unclear how the Navigator is able to produce human speech. Our time is short to do what? Suddenly, the Navigator's body starts thrashing in place. It lurches forward, then falls back onto the seat, then thrusts forward again as its bones crack and its skin tears open. However, the fusion between the body and the chair appears to be stronger than these wild impetuses. The mutant remains seated but leans as far forward as he can, his layered raiment slowly turning crimson. The gill slits burst open, forming 2 hideous screaming mouth-like pits. Fall to your knees, mortals, and behold the final dawn. Idira shrieks in terror. It came from beyond. His body is not his. Idira's scream is echoed by the silent cries in your head. The unseen creature triumphs at the sight of the Navigator succumbing to the paroxysms of corruption. Its march thunders under the burden of hopes. Unseal your hearts and I will flood your souls with myriads of words and meanings, each one a portent of salvation within me. The Navigator continues to convulse violently in his seat, shrieking and cackling, but then his fit stops abruptly. His face is drenched in black and crimson. The dark ooze from under his third eyelid is turned from a trickle into a stream, mixed with the blood coming out of his nose, and there's purplish swelling around the eye. Run. Flee from this place while I still have the strength. The words come out of the Vox as a labored rattle. I can contain the intrusion, but not for long. We must begin the translation. Leave the warp, but it can't be done without the Master Helmsman's help. I'll talk to Abelard. The Navigator's still alive, but barely so. What do we do now? He would know. The Seneschal gazes at the figure in the chair. The ship can only begin the translation with the assistance of the Master Helmsman if he is still alive. It is worth a try. We must get to the bridge, but we will need support. Our only option is to find our way to the officer's deck and join forces with Edelthrad and his people. I believe we will also find Lady Theodora there. She must have heard the call to arms that the server skull relayed to us earlier. Idira reaches her hand out to the Navigator, but pulls it back at the last moment. Vespiadus, good luck, and thank you. They had 2 axes, 2 scrappy auto guns. I gave one to Gideon, and a Psyker staff. Well, we don't need that. Let's go back from where we came from. We've got to make it to the officer's deck.
Say no more.
We've got to find Edelthrad. He's probably in danger, I would imagine. Yeah, there it is.
I shall pity not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these.
I shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my Emperor.
The white-haired warrior turns to face you, her dark eyes blazing. The weapon quivers in her hands, and for a brief moment, it seems she's not going to stop and will instead continue eliminating every target she sees, starting with you.
Sister Argenta! Sister Argenta, it is a relief to see you. We require all the forces we can muster.
Your face, it is unfamiliar. Who are you?
Gideon.
The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends who are twisted by sneers of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the archenemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you. Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelthrad the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
I am no traitor.
If you speak truthfully, the Emperor will not forsake you. If you are lying, you will not escape his retribution. I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
What is the Sister of Battle doing here?
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain. And that story deserves its own time and conversation. Under more appropriate circumstances.
Fair enough.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice.
We've got to get to the main hall of the deck.
Through this door, I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
Hey, mine too. We should chat more. The Overseer says, we will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a technomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
A Sister of Battle on our side? Today's a good day for the Imperium. And we have a new gun, a well-maintained stub revolver. Nice. Do we have any other loot to pick up? We sure do. We'll go over what cargo is later on. Because right now it's not important.
I'll warn you if
But of course I do want to collect it. Open the door. Another battle. I've got everyone in position. Let's begin the battle. Argenta, you're going to use your war hymn. Grants momentum equal to 6. This ability also grants an additional 3 momentum for each enemy that is either in a 5-cell radius around a priest or was hit with a priest this turn. After that, she's going to use a burst fire. She's got a bolter gun. Good luck to them. Hey, we got 2. After that, running gun. We'll shoot again. If I move here... Okay, good. I wouldn't have a chance of hitting Abelard. I wouldn't want to do that. We killed 2 more. Heck yeah! 4 more enemies are now moving in, but we wiped out an entire group. Good job, Argenta. She's done. All right, here comes the cutthroat. They've got, let's see, 2 ranged units and 2 melee units. Idira, I want you to use Forewarning on Abelard, but not yet. For now, use Analyze Enemies. Use it on that one cutthroat. I want to be able to hit him even harder. Then Chain Lightning or Lightning Arc. We'll take out all 3. Let's give it a go. Come on. Got him. All right. Forewarning on Abelard. More dodge and parry for him. She's done. Degradation is only at 4. Well, that's not too bad. All right. 4 more to take out. Abelard, what you'll do, you'll move up, then charge. Heck yeah. Later. Oh no, a parry. That's all right. Brace for impact. I don't want him to be hit. And we'll be able to attack again. Let's try it out. 22 damage, a critical strike. Heck yeah, man. He's hitting so hard. All right, Gideon, you'll move up. Not too much, but a little bit. Well, if you don't move up a lot, you won't be able to really hit anyone. But that's all right. Move here. Voice of command on Argenta. There it is. Regimental tactics. And after that, we could use a burst fire, but there would be a chance to hit Abelard. We'll leave it alone for right now. I don't want to gamble. Another parry from Abelard. They're having a hard time hitting him. 4 damage from a shot. Okay, Argenta. Let's move up. There's a bit of cover if we move right behind Abelard. A single shot. Yeah, let's do it. Come on. 8 damage and he's dead. Alright, Idira. I'm going to have you move up too. You're going to use a Psychic Shriek, which deals a lot of damage. Please don't blow up using your powers.
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Yeah, she's okay. Her turn is over. Abelard, your turn again. Alright. Let's use... Well, we could use a cleave. Let's do that. Hit him. 22 damage again. We got them all. They're all dead. Well, that feels really good. Now we get to loot a lot. I'll pick it up and I'll have a closer look at it in a bit. Body parts everywhere, man. I don't know where to carry all these guns. Alright, so we've got some more goods that we need to look at. What do we have inside? A machine right set. And also a multi-key. That'll come in handy. More goods. I'm looting everything. And some over here. Alright. I'll keep on looting. I'm not going to leave until we do that. Wait, hold on. A door to open up. I could use a set. Yeah, I'll use a set. Easy enough. Ooh, a vault. Melted charges. Heck yeah. And operator's gloves. +3 bonus attack use. I'll give it to whoever has the highest skill. More goods to pick up. Alright, let's head back out. There's another door that I need to open up. It's right there. I could use a multi-key. Yeah? You know what? Sure, I'll do that. Let's make my life pretty easy. More tech use. Surprisingly, Gideon has the highest tech use. Well, restore the power, Gideon. Nice. One more door to open up. We'll use logic. It worked.
The light of terror
Alright, what do we
shines
have
for us.
inside? I could use a melted charge. No, I don't want to do that. 2 more multi-keys and a mantle of heroism. We've got to be 1 iconoclast. So I can't use it. Abelard could. Each heroic act used in battle increases the wearer's dodge by 20% until the end of combat. Max of 60%. Nice. Maybe I should become one. No, that would be better for him, I think. More melted charges. We'll never say no to more melted charges. Alright. I did check the entire room for loot. We are now ready to move up and blow open a door. Easy enough? Let's back off. Not too big of a boom. Oh, we all leveled up. Nice. Yeah, get in that hole. I'll be there in a moment. 1 rank available. We get Bring It Down. Giving anyone an extra turn. Oh, that can make all the difference in any battle. That's great news. I'm glad we've got it. Abelard, what do you get? Endure. Until the warrior's next turn, all incoming damage is reduced by tough bonus, and the warrior gains tough bonus temporary wounds. You've got to look at the tens place to determine your bonus. 45, so 4. Damage reduced by 4, 4 wounds as temporary wounds. All done. Idira, what do you get? Expose weakness, alright. You'll use all your exploits, which is cool. We'll check it out later. And finally, Argenta. Revel in slaughter. The soldier immediately removes the wounded effect. Until the end of combat, the soldier gains the following bonuses. +10 to ballistic skill. We get more critical damage. A higher critical hit chance. This ability becomes available after the soldier kills 3 enemies. Oh my god! The kill counter is not reset between rounds. That's really good. She already hits hard. Well, into the rabbit hole we go. Let's get inside. The dead guy, what do you have on you, pal? A multi-key. Well, thank you. Here's a group doing nothing. Oh good, our enemies are bad shots. Let's continue. Now what? More shooting. Fire we won't be able to pass, but hold on. Who is it? The Lady Captain. The roar of the flames rings in your ears, and the choking smoke makes you cough and gasp for air. You instinctively recoil from the scorching heat, wiping your face. A moment later, a hazy silhouette forms in a raging wall of fire. You are surrounded by ear-splitting noise and screaming, yet you distinctly hear the sound of footsteps. And then you see the figure walk out of the fire toward you. There she is. Are you lost, my heir? An apparition. Trickery of the warp. Argenta, you've got your gun raised at her. I don't blame you. Abelard says, Sister, you will lower your weapon. Threatening the Lord Captain is outrageous, but he doesn't seem very sure. We'll ask her, how did you get here? I am a rogue trader, Gideon. I am wherever my will demands me to be. Would you prefer to be elsewhere at this time? But are you ready? She watches me without blinking. Her snake-like gaze almost makes you forget about the fire searing you, leaving burns on your skin. I can lead you out of these flames, Gideon, show you a path, rid you of pain, and give you a weapon so that you may defeat your enemies. Decide. Your mouth begins to salivate. Each word Theodora speaks is like music to your ears. The entity that now dwells in the deepest recesses of your mind is pleading, begging, demanding that you give her an immediate answer, and that answer can be nothing other than acceptance. Argenta interjects. Do not listen to this abomination. Gideon, if there is naught but his light in your heart, if you are resolute in your faith, then step into the flames. The Emperor protects. Oh boy. Alright, I could do that. Idira says, To the void with you. We need to follow Lady Theodora before we suffocate in this furnace. Abelard. The people. Abelard looks back at the coughing and confused people around you. Gideon, the survivors from the middle decks. We've got to help the crew. Lead them out. Find a way around. I agree. Idira says, Then we'll miss our chance to meet up with... Idira breaks off and starts coughing violently. Her knees buckle, and she looks like she's about to fall. Gideon, what are we waiting for? And here's my first decision. I could be dogmatic, heretical, or one iconoclast. I'm gonna be an iconoclast. Get the people off the bridge. I will not leave my people in harm's way. You look away, and the illusion breaks. The unbearable heat instantly makes your skin burn, and the voices of the people beyond the shroud of smoke grow stronger and hopeful. Once you and your companions rush back, barking orders and guiding the survivors, in your determination, you completely forget about the Idora, and when you turn your head, you see nothing but the bellowing fire. 13 points in Iconoclast. We're done here. Get back, everyone. Good. That was pretty cool, though. We had to make a decision, and so we did. I do have faith, however, we're also about saving our people. Let's move on. Crash the platform. Well, before I do that, let's have a look around. More cargo, a catechism. Well, that's mine. Tech use, I'll try to open that door. It's currently locked. I would like to try again. I could get all of you to try. Maybe one day we'll get it right. No, we're going to use a melt charge. Perfect. All right. When all else fails, melt a charge. All right, what do we have here? A deck officer's helmet, 5% more armor. I don't really need it. Who would need it? That would be Abelard. Yeah, I'll give it to him. Perfect. All right, now we'll go back. Time to crash a platform. We've got guns. Let's do it. Yeah, get the shooting. Cool. Let's forge on.
Something ominous lurks ahead.
No kidding. What now?
Too late. We are too late. Or perhaps Edelthrad and his escort never made it here. Which would be even worse.
Or they could be fighting on the bridge as we speak. Without us.
My lord, I beg your pardon for interrupting. The people are asking for orders. You came back to save us. So now we will follow you through thick and thin.
To the bridge. If Edelthrad is there, then he requires immediate assistance. I say there is one thing that I find most troubling. The Lord Captain's Voxcasts. They are still coming in, even though it would make sense for Lady Theodora to be on the bridge right now, at the head of the counter-assault. I feel uneasy. What if the Lord Captain is besieged in her own chambers? With your permission, I suggest that we confirm for ourselves that she is not. We can use the same elevator that Lady Theodora and Mort headed for earlier.
Only one door to open up. Okay, that's where we need to go. That helmet doesn't match. I might need to, well, turn off the appearance. And here's another door. Let's have a look inside. Another box. We've got 2 machine right sets and Lux Mechanics goggles, +3 to logic. Gideon actually has the highest logic, so we'll give it to him. There. He's able to see everything now. Wait, hold on. Before we go down, more goods. I'll never say no to more goods. I don't know why our pockets are so large, but they are. All right, so now we go down to her quarters. We've made it into her quarters. Let's move in here. Wait, Mort? She's dead! I can't believe it. They got her. I don't know why she was sitting down. They got Mort too? I nearly don't believe it. He's really good. He's got... oh, another helmet. You've got to be dogmatic for it. This helmet grants its wearer immunity to enemy critical hits for the first 3 rounds of combat. Wow. Okay, we'll give it to someone. Probably Argenta. Before we investigate, let's pick up what we can. A rosary. +10 to commerce and lore for the Imperium. That'll go to Gideon. A vault too. Another cloak. A rogue trader's cloak. +5 to fellowship for each enemy in a 2-cell radius. We've got some pretty good stuff. Argenta had an auto pistol as her secondary weapon. I've given it to Gideon. Now let's check out Theodora. We need to investigate. Her body sprawled on the large blood-drenched desk. The Archmilitan's corpse, still clutching a weapon, is slumped against one of the bulkheads.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
No! Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Lord Captain, who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere.
I doubted. He wanted her to suffer, not to die quickly.
It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here, and he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last. How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Archmilitant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
Let's have a look at Mort. Then we'll move on to the captain. An auto pistol shot went straight through his forehead, spraying the floor and furniture around blood, brain matter, and shards of his skull. That was quick. Okay. Let's go back to Theodora. They were really good. You lean closer to the body. The cause of death is apparent. An auto pistol shot. Okay, something on the floor catches your eye. There's parchment, scrolls too, and also small shards of glass. Let's have a look at the shards. I don't know what they are. Okay. Now the papers. Reports, accounts, dispatches. You go over the scrolls until you stumble upon a document that is starkly different from the rest. It is a handwritten letter signed with the initials XC. Interesting. Wait. Signed by the Inquisition. That's interesting. Alright. I'm gonna give the shards over to Idira.
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces drawing closer. Lady Theodora and Kunrad and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure. Tainted witchcraft.
Idira, would you try touching Theodora? You might be able to see the killer through her eyes.
It doesn't work like that. I can try to read the memories of objects, but dead bodies are a different story. Something like that would require her soul. And after what we saw on the officer's deck, I won't risk searching for it in a warp.
Okay, that's a really fair point. Let's go.
Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
Hey, me too, Argenta. We've got so much in common.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything.
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find the one responsible for murdering the Lord Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
Well, let's get out of here. We better go find Edelthrad. He might still be alive. What now? Oh, they've got a combat servitor. That's gonna be fun.
Not the heretic to live.
Okay, Abelard. I'm gonna have you charge in. You'll move right over there. Idira, I don't want you close to everyone else. That would be really bad for all of us. All right. There's Argenta, Gideon over to the left, and we're now ready. Okay, Abelard, charge in. Go after the beefier enemy.
I will do my duty.
Then you'll use Cleave, taking out 2. Nice. Brace for impact. Don't let them hit you. Okay, Gideon, I could have you shoot, but instead, I think what I want you to do, I want you to use Voice of Command. Use it on Argenta. Cool. Regimental Tactics. He's still not done. Bring it down to AP. Now Argenta's going to be able to shoot right away. Warham. Momentum is now up a bit. And here's a burst fire. Let's go. Heck yeah. Alright, she's done. Now we get to shoot. My chance to hit is not very high, but that's alright. I'll try anyway. Let's go. Hey, we did it! Good job, Gideon. Alright, Argenta. Keep on shooting. Actually, if I put you over here, could you hit them all? You can. Well, potentially hit them all. We've got one more dead. Running gun. We'll move back. I don't want to hit Abelard, and I don't want the Servitor to go after Argenta. So back we go. I wonder how far it's able to move. I could check, but instead, let's move over here. A single shot. Let's go. Come on. Not a kill, but close to it. They're very hurt. Okay, so we've got one heroic act. Cool. We'll use it. Yeah, why not? But first we're going to use Analyze Enemies. My enemy has got to take more damage. Alright, now. Lightning Arc. Let's do it. Hopefully it's going to hurt a lot.
If only you knew what
I mean, I wish I had it earlier, but that'll work. Alright, she's done for the moment. Actually, hold on. For a warning, right on Abelard. Nice. We do need to be careful. Wait, what's on her? Ah, gotcha. Yeah, no, we're fine. It's moving back. Uh-oh. 0 damage. Heck yeah. Good job, Abelard. He's like, well, I stood here. I did that. We could move back, then charge in. That's true. Let's move back, then charge in. Well, hold on. I want to make sure no one hits him, so we'll move over here. Now we're going to charge in. That would be the better call, I think. Perfect. How much? 4 damage. Okay, strike. A guaranteed hit. 3 damage. He's done for now. But I want you to use Endure. Nice. If you get hit, you should be okay. Voice of Command again. Well, hold on. Let's move closer. Just a bit closer. Yeah, right there. Voice of Command. Bring it down to AP. We'll still be able to shoot. I love that we're able to do so much. It's awesome. Okay. Swing again. 7 damage. He's done. And here's a bullet. A miss. Unfortunate. Okay, Argenta. Let's move up. A single shot. It's going to take a moment. We'll get it. It's pretty sturdy. A miss. All right. Degradation is going up. It's at 9. That does worry me a little bit. We could use a Shriek. Hold on. Analyze enemies again. After that, Shriek away. Please don't backfire. 14 damage. It didn't backfire. All done. 3 damage. It moved away. Holy crap. Nothing too bad, though. All right, one final charge. We did it.
I took care of this one.
Cool. Cut in half. Let's pick up our loot. What do we have over here? +5 to toughness if their intelligence is less than 35. That's pretty funny. We've made it to the bridge. It's not looking good. Let's see. Lore of the Warp. We did pass and we leveled up. Cool. Let's grab some goods, then get to it. Gideon, our officer, has his own ultimate ability, Finest Hour. And for our talent, we've got Commanding Voice, a +3 to the range of all officer abilities, and for Voice of Command, that range goes up by 6. It's an ability we're going to use all throughout the game. We want it to be even better than it currently is. For Abelard, I gave him Thick Skin. The warrior gains +1 damage deflection. Their parry chance is increased by 25% of the warrior's total armor. We want his armor to go up to increase that parry chance. And for deflection, deflection determines the amount of damage deducted whenever an enemy hits the character. He's gonna be a tank, a walking tank. For Idira, I gave her Advice and Guidance. The first time in combat that an ally becomes a target of the Psyker's psychic power, this ally gains +10 to weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of combat. For that entire battle, they get a +10. That's incredibly good. And over here for Argenta, I gave her a very simple talent, Bolt Weapon Expert. All throughout the game, that's what I want her to use. I mean, come on, it's in her portrait. And she's going to be able to bypass a lot more armor. I mean, look at her right now. She's at 25%. That 10% would bring her down to 15%. We want her to shoot a lot, and we want her to go through any armor that she hits. Our ultimate abilities will go over whenever they pop up.
The first sacrifice will awaken the powers. The second victim will become a decoy.
Edelthrad, who is clutching a bleeding wound on his chest, gives you a tormented look. Help has arrived. Too late to change the tide, I'm afraid. But if there's any honor in you, we can at least die with dignity and give our lives for the rogue trader. I've got bad news for you, bud. The Lord Captain will not be joining us. He gives me a confused look. Then, as realization dawns on him, his eyes fill with disbelief. No, the rogue trader is dead? No matter what ritual Kunrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second. The warp ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the Warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed. Idira looks anxiously at Edelthrad. Then she glances back at you. I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. Gideon will say, the ship can still be steered out of the warp, but we must first restore communication between the bridge and the Navigator's sanctum. Edelthrad stares at you, and his eyes harden with cold resolve once more. Then we have no right to bow our heads. I agree. You can see Voidveer clearly in the gloom of the bridge. The broken blade he is holding is stained with dark drops that seem to have a pearlescent glimmer to them. We are out of time. Edelthrad bites his knuckle, desperately thinking. You see a wave ripple across the whites of Edelthrad's eyes, and they begin to turn a sickly yellow. Oh, I don't like that. Alright, I'm going to talk to my party. Ready your weapons. If we are to die this day, let us die with honor. Edelthrad goes on. No, Gideon. To die altogether is to allow the flame of dynasty to perish in the dark. No, it will not be like this. Not today. Edelthrad lowers his head. Then he sighs and locks eyes with you. His gaze cold, haughty, and fanatical. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it. And you, see to it that the void ship breaks free from the warp. Watch over our realm, and farewell. Accursed traitor, a time will come when you will bleed for her ladyship Theodora's murder. Remember my words, for they are the vow of he who marches towards his death. What? Theodora is dead? Voidveer stares at you in seemingly genuine bewilderment. No, that can't be, not now. I still haven't.
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
I feel so bad for Gideon. He finds out he's got 2 family members, One is executed. The other one is turned into a chaos spawn. What Ed was doing was so cool until that happened. Well, let's put him out of his misery. Voidveer, I'm gonna find you. I don't know where he went off to. Let's begin the battle. Gideon gets to go first. We could move up. That would be very daring, but Abelard is gonna have to move after the spawn. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, we're gonna use Voice of Command on Abelard. There we go. And I'm gonna shoot. Let's bring out our stub revolver. We'll try to take out one heretic. I don't like them having any numbers. 10 damage, a great hit. Nice work. All right, we're done for right now. Or actually, wait, to play it safe, I'll use Bring It Down on Idira. Veiled Degradation has got to be bad at the moment. Okay, analyze enemies. Well, if I do that, I won't be able to use my lightning arc. Let's go. We'll take out 2 more heretics. Nothing bad happened. Not yet. Alright, back over to us. Veiled Degradation at 12. We could use Finest Hour, but I'm going to save it. I don't want to do it yet. Or if I get crazy with it, I use my tactics. Then I use it. Yeah, you know what? Forget about it. Let's do that. Finest Hour. Abelard, let's go. It's your time to shine. I'm going to have you charge in. I want you to turn that enemy away. So move over here. He's done it. I don't want you to damage it too much. Not yet. Use Endure. You're only trying to draw its attention. Perfect. Endure and also brace for impact. You know what? We could strike one more time. Let's do it for fun. 16 damage. That's really good. Alright, back over to Gideon. Let's shoot again. We're not done yet. 12 damage, another one dead. Okay, Overseer, 4 damage. That put him right over the edge. Okay, so he's able to absorb the minions. That's a huge issue. Abelard was able to parry 1 attack. That's good. He's doing fine. Alright. They're still shooting at that spawn. I don't want that. I wish they would stop. Go after the other minions. Well, how many more do we need to kill? Or did we get them all? Wait. They're all gone. Heck yeah. Alright. We're going to be okay now. Let's move up. Okay, if I move right here, I want to use Warham. Let's do that. More momentum. Alright. I'll use my burst attack. A single shot is fine, but let's have at it. That's a lot of damage. Run and gun? Sure, we'll do that too. But we're not going to run. We are going to gun. Every single one hit. And we're not done. Okay, Chaos Spawn. That was a pretty devastating attack. I did not like that. And Abelard has been able to parry everything. I truly have turned him into a great tank. Alright, let's see here. Endure, again. It's how he's staying alive. Continue to strike. 11 damage. Strike again. Oh, man. He's going for it. Alright, back over to Idira. Let's move away for right now. We can move out into the open. Veiled Degradation is too high. I don't want to use any Psyker powers. So instead, we'll move away into cover. Then I want to use Analyze Enemies. Okay, hold on. I can't see him from there, so we'll move over to the left. Then Analyze.
What is this,
Let's do that instead. Cool. Now pull out your last pistol and attack. Well, I don't want you to hit anyone. So forget about it. If you're only able to burst, don't shoot. It's not really worth it. Alright, back over to Gideon again. I'm going to have him move up. Let's get closer. I know it's a bit crazy, but that's what we're going to do. Voice of Command, Argenta. Everyone's going to hear him. Then, bring it down. Abelard, it's your turn. It's always your turn. Keep on attacking. 12 damage. He's done. Alright, back over to Gideon. You've got a shot to make. 7 damage. Okay, Overseer. And the officers. They're not dealing a lot of damage, but clearly every little bit helps out. It's all piecemeal. Oh, a deck enforcer, cool. But he didn't land a shot. Argenta, it's your turn.
As the Emperor commands,
Keep on bursting. We did it. Ha ha ha. Already level 5. We're making great progress. For Gideon, I gave him a +5 to his fellowship, and I picked up camaraderie. That's why I picked Hive World for our homeworld. So we're going to be able to, of course, pass any willpower test using our fellowship value instead. That's a great thing to have, so I wanted to pick that up right now. We're only at 25 willpower, but who cares? We've got 50 fellowship. Now let's have a look at Abelard. For Abelard, I gave him Hardened Scars. Whenever the warrior is hit while under the Endure effect, their damage deflection is increased by +1 until his next turn. Even more damage reduction. Who's going to kill him? No one. And then I gave him a +5 to toughness. He's our tank. For Idira, I'm going to turn her into a bounty hunter one day. I gave her perception. That's what we're going to have to focus on. And over here, I've also given her nimble, a +10% bonus to dodge. For Argenta, at level 5, I gave her more ballistic skill. And I gave her unpredictable. We're going to focus on giving her agility and trying to pump up her crit chance. The soldier gains +3, 3 plus agility bonus percentage, critical hit chance. This bonus is doubled against enemies from which the soldier is protected by cover at the moment of attack. A great thing to have, especially, again, if you want to critical strike your enemies, and she does. She's all about bypassing armor and hurting them as much as possible. Now that we're level 5, let's go check out the Forbidden Pinata. Sorry, Ed. What do you have? Some mysterious blade? Okay. And gloves of endurance. Whenever someone gets an injury or falls unconscious in combat, their allies gain a whole +1 bonus to damage. I don't like that trade-off. I would rather keep my ally in full health. Alright, let's go find that helmsman. There he is.
Say no more.
He's alive. Master Helmsman, report. By the Emperor. Alright, living and breathing. Well, there's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long. I'll tell him what to do. We need to re-establish contact with the Navigator Sanctum. It is our only chance of escaping from the warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing. One of the survivors buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking. He's good. He's very good. Abelard goes on to say, restore the Vox channel to the Navigator Sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. He pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. Gideon, you may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard the rules. You are the only one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take your place in the ritual that is about to commence. Sure, there's a throne. All I need to do, I need to sit in it, I'm sure. I'm ready, begin. Let's go. You could ask a question, but we've got to act right now. We don't have time to tarry. We don't have time to wait. And it's a really cool chair. Oh, my apologies. Throne. Beautiful. It's not my tank, but it'll do. Oh. Evil Theodora is back. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous currents invisible to mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true surreal nature. Hey, that's me. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire. The other, a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself? For the sake of lives that are not your own, So many threads stretch between you and other creatures of your world. Pitiful, worthless links, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. A muddled, erratic, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that all these voices are the myriad of manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. I'll say to it, I'm saving my people, do your worst, but you cannot stop me. Theodora lets out a long screech, a shrill, overwhelming sound that can only be read as laughter. Lead them, mortal. Guide them. Persuade them. Force them to walk your path. You will need followers, for destiny is preordained. Look who it is, Voidveer. This shard of reality drifting through my domain is merely the arena for the one who dared to seek the favor of the gods. The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, to procure that which elevates a mortal above others. A relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured, and the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable. I'm pretty good. There's Idira. The image is scattered by invisible sorceress winds, and you see Idira, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame. The aspirant was defeated, and thus gave birth to a new aspirant. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I see you on a day when the final dawn rises over the metal world, when the gates of the realm of the sorcerer open and set the truth free. I see you at my side on a day I rise again. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances, the thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility, the thread that will guide you, and the weapon of our return. That sounds very Zinchian. Here's Abelard. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine. The Master Helmsman. Seneschal. The Navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means... Abelard nods. The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancia's flagship. We will honor his memory along with that of all who died this day. Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is he? Talking about me. And he wants to know where the Lord Captain is at.
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision.
Alright, I have no choice, I've got to.
It is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is von Valancius, the rightful inheritor of the Warrant of Trade and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim... Have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord! It is because of his toils that we still live. The deed is done. My apologies. I meant to say, Lord Captain.
By the right of blood.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
A dozen pairs of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you've been granted an honor. Lord Captain Gideon von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. That's true. Abelard, I could use a few introductions. So who do we have right now? A tall, slender woman. whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. We've got Vigdis Siriata of the Tulliman line, our new Vox Master. She's in charge of all communications. Good to know. Then we have our Master Helmsman. I like him already. Who do we have next? High Factotum Janus Denrock. He oversees supplies, procurement, and the general material well-being of the ship. Oh, he's very fancy. It is an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have the 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery aboard. The Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship. And lastly, the Drives Master, servant of the Omnissiah. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drives Master offers a salute resembling a dance involving the complicated manipulation of all the tech priests' mechadendrites, all the little limbs that they have. Thank you, Abelard. Greetings to you all. I serve at your pleasure, Lord Captain. All right, let's talk, I believe right now, to the Drives Master. Let's do that. Zera Talar. A voice distorted by a Vox retranslator emerges from under the tech priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report that the Engine Seer Prime, overseer and spiritual authority of all tech priests on board, fell in battle. The Magus was betrayed by the little detestable flesh that remained part of him. A most terrible loss. There's no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magus. We require a replacement, and as soon as possible. That's good to know. I see, thank you. And she bows her head. Let's talk to the Infernus Master. Faisal Nazi. Yes, Lord Captain. The tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all ducts have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material losses and crew casualties has been completed. The results have been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty, Abelard says. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. Ha, nice one. High Factotum, what have you to report? Oh, here we go. We are toiling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that all damaged components are given into the tech priest's hands for attention and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also includes trained professionals. We will be able to make up our losses on the nearest planet, Rakad Minoris. However, the planet, the whole system in fact, belongs to the Winterscale Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on a planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Abelard goes on to say, especially true given Caliga's Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs as governors on his planets. Okay, Master Helmsman, deliver your status report. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our Engine Seer Prime and Navigator who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what will happen first. Our warp drive being torn to pieces, or all of us melting into the bulkheads. I don't like that. And here's the Vox Master. Your Lordship, if you will allow me to interject, when we arrived in this system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all the available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobilite station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a Navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull, as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the demon that appeared before you during the translation to real space echo in your mind. Ah, forget you. Alright, Master Helmsman. If I were you, I would grab this chance with both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new resident. In slightly less shitty news, we can go round and round the system till our heads are swimming as long as the promethium and supplies last. And if any thick as grok shit lowlifes come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't you worry on that score. Alright, Master of Ordnance, do you have anything to report? Ashar. The Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire where I'm told, but just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Abelard is not happy about that. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? Comes the officer's hostile and bitter reply. It is if a dam has burst inside and all his pent-up emotions are rushing out of him. The ship's in ruins. Every second officer's dead. And now we've got a green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void knows where. Silence! The bridge's magnificent glass panes seem to tremble under the force of Abelard's roar. Enforcers, seize this mutineer. Oh, you dummy. They got him. Good job. Abelard grunts. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, then that's not bad at all. Your Lordship, I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you have us do with the Master of Ordnance? The former Master of Ordnance, I should say. Besides finding a replacement, that is, for we already have one lined up. That was quick. That was really quick. I could have him killed immediately. Gideon wouldn't do that, though. No. He's gonna work for us. That's his punishment. If he doesn't trust me, that's fine. I could have him killed. That's easy, though. He's gonna find out very soon that Gideon is very capable. If he's got experience, he should have the job. Let him keep it for right now. So, we're gonna pick out our Iconoclast response. Stand down, release him. I have no intention of punishing a man for a moment of weakness, not after the terrible attack we have endured. It's only for right now that we'll do that. Later, they're in trouble. Abelard stares unblinkingly at the Master of Ordnance. Cease your sniveling. You disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough. The hysterics are over. Let us resume. The Master of Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. His face is the picture of shock. What just happened seems to be dawning on him only now, and the knowledge of the fate he so narrowly escaped. There. That's what I was looking for. Alright, my turn to talk. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members, and we require a new Engineer Prime and Navigator. Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship's systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, home to the only dockyard in the sector. But we will never reach Footfall without first solving these 3 immediate problems. Sure. Thank you all for your reports. The assembled officers salute you as one. Your Lordship, there is one other thing, a confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora, Abelard hesitates. Your internally esteemed predecessor brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has the authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything. And I shall tell you, the Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will in the Corona's expanse. That's a lot. I would be honored to fulfill the Inquisitor's commission. What did he want? Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrich van Kalox. An interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he is somewhere in this system, that we must find him and to offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to Footfall in the Furibunda system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but an Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either the Navis Nobilite or the Governor of Rykid Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, Your Lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Valancia's protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look as if trying to gauge how long you will hold out under this mountain of problems. I'll be okay, thank you. I've had to handle the guard. Idira? Sister Argenta? Explain yourselves. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak to me when you have time, Rogue Trader. Idira's glazed eyes rove over those assembled. One word burst from her lips. Daybreak. Oh dear. Idira, come to your senses. Damn it. Idira presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard. My head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak. Or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? Abelard says, we cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else? No, not yet anyway. Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge. Sure. Alright, I'll say, if there is nothing else of value to report, I declare this briefing concluded. It is time to get to work. After that meeting, I really do feel like a captain. I thought I was going to pull out paperwork for me to sign. Let's talk to the Vox Master. Connect me to the vessel's main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. That worked out. It is done, Lord Captain. You address the crew with a rousing speech and hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Yeah, I do. That was great. That felt good. Let's go talk to Argenta. I don't know what she wants, but let's find out. There she is.
Rogue Trader.
You said you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader.
Alright, she wants me to talk to the children who all lost their parents during that attack. Alright, I'll do that. I'll pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. It's only a short walk. These children did lose a lot. Gideon is willing to show compassion. He's not inhuman. The motley group of children and adolescents don't take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Evidently, the Sister of Battle has been watching over them. She's very kind. Argenta is standing to the side of the group, next to the youngest visitors. You notice her giving them looks and inconspicuous gestures of encouragement. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House of Von Valancius. Gideon doesn't have kids. He's not married. He wouldn't know how to talk to them at all. Instead, he'll be formal like he would with his own men. Children of the brave servants of House of Von Valancius, I, the rogue trader and Lord Captain of this ship, speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the Von Valancius banners and those of the Imperium. I am proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. Also, because we do focus on fellowship, that feels about right. The children hang on your every word with bated breath. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen. They're not impressed. But here, there's a few people beginning to sniffle. Now I'm hearing whispers, sobs, and grumbles. And here's one of the older orphans, a teenager who's got a scar over his face. So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you, noble lot, and you just give us speeches? Look, a lot happened. I'm new here. They lost so much in a very short period of time. They're gonna spend their entire lives on this one ship. I don't want to become a tyrant, no. Instead, we'll look past it. If it happens in a day, in a week, later on, then we'll talk about it. But for today, we mourn. We mourn all together. Gideon won't address that one child. Rest assured, you won't be abandoned. You will be taken care of. You can tell by the children's bright eyes that your words and the very fact of meeting the rogue trader in the flesh have left an indelible impression on them. Abelard says, kids, you won't recognize them in a year or two. They will learn to salute and speak only when permitted by their superior officer. But right now, clowning around is all they know. Argenta rubs her temples, or her temple, pensively. She smiles at the younger children. offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Now we need to pick out where we want to go to first. We've got the guide for one of my errands. The Void ship needs a new navigator. One may be found in the Navis Nobilite station. New blood. We could get more crew members on Rakad Minoris. Machine Spirit Keeper. We've got to find a new engine seer. And here's chapter 1, all that we need to do. We're trying to find that one interrogator. We could go to Rakadi Philia, the prison planetoid. We've got to go to Navis Nobilite and Rakad Minoris no matter what. It's really only a matter of where we go first. And here's our map. There's a lot that we could check out, including some Void ship over here. Oh, I can't wait to get into ship combat. Let's have a look at our Void ship right now. Here's our components. We're only level 1. We're able to upgrade. And I could even put my companions into certain positions too. But again, we'll check that out later on. Well, Imperials, we're done for right now. Make sure that you do your duty. Leave a like, comment, and even sub if you've not already done so. Look forward to more very soon. And do let me know what you think we should do first. We've got a lot more to check out.